questions. I've gathered a few from some of our fellow DIL ambassadors. And the first one we have would be from Talal, who's an admin from Saudi Arabia. And he has asked, why did you get into acting?
Oh, that's such a good question. Do you know what? From a young age, like from the age of 3, I just always knew I wanted to perform. I wasn't too sure what medium that was going to be on. I just loved entertaining people and, you know, being up on stage, whether that be singing, dancing, acting, you know, just being backstage and just being in that environment was like what I've always enjoyed. But I think as I started to get older, I realized that acting was the one that I had the most love for. And then it continued.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Talal has also asked another question. He asked, what's your genre of acting?
So yeah, there are so many genres in acting. Like, you know, you have comedy, drama, just all types. But I guess I've been predominantly theatre, and drama is usually the genre we do. But I think I really love comedy. I think not everyone can do comedy. Like, there's a certain timing that you have to stick to, and every audience is different and people pick up jokes at different times. I think that's the one where I feel most alive in.
Okay, thank you so much. That's really interesting. The next question we have is from Ife from Nigeria. She's also an ambassador, a DIL ambassador, and she's asked, what inspired you to be an actress and a writer?
What inspired me? Do you know what? I think from a young age, it's just something I knew that I wanted to do. But I remember when my mum took me over to the pantomime when I was younger, and that was like a moment where I actually saw professionals do it for the first time. Whereas before then, I was just doing it with family and, you know, just seeing it in school and stuff. And then I remember watching this film called The Man of Fire. It's got Denzel Washington in it and Dakota Fanning. And Dakota Fanning is like my age, but during that time, she must have been about 7 or 8 years old. And she was acting with Denzel Washington, and she was amazing. I mean, she still is amazing. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, however she got there, I want to be doing that. So yeah, I think, so those are kind of the moments when, you know, it kind of like reignited that flame of, definitely, this is what I want to do.
Wow, that's from such a young age, and then that's really nice to know. Thank you. The next question we have is from Ita, and she's also from Nigeria and another DIL ambassador. She's asked, what was it like for you when you just started acting?
What was it like for me when I first? Well, to be honest, it was just a hobby for me. It was just something like really fun to do, like after school, or like when I had like drama classes and stuff.
It's to the max.
So yeah, that's it was just something really fun. But now I guess I've come to take it, I guess not, I wouldn't say the word like seriously, but I'm starting to see like all the different ways, like all the different outputs into it as well.
Okay, thank you. We have another question, and this is from Tanya. She is another DIL ambassador and an admin from the UK. And she's asked, what is the most important thing you can tell us ambassadors about failure and success in everyday life?
That's a really good question. Do you know what? I saw a quote a few weeks ago, which I saw it last year. I'm just trying to rethink of what it said, because I know I'm going to paraphrase it. But it said something across the lines of, if you're making mistakes, that means you're out there doing the work. Like every time you fail, that's because you try to do something, you try to accomplish something. So not to see it as a failure, but more of their steps to your success. And I think that's a way that I've tried to stay positive in this crazy industry, is like all the auditions I go to, like every time I get a no, it's like I've learned from that experience. And I think also, I mean, I've just recently come off of social media again, because social media, I think, especially during these times where you're dealing with the whole global pandemic, and then I've been seeing so many tweets and, you know, stuff about the Black Lives Matter movement, and just so many people are giving like their 2 cents. It can start to get so negative. But outside of all of that, I mean, just usually you have people constantly posting, you know, what they're up to, and it can start to feel like really competitive, and you can start to compare yourself to everyone else. So recently I've just come off social media because I think it's just so important to focus on yourself during these times, and, you know, be your own competition, but not push too hard, and know that tomorrow's a new day and you can start all over again.
Yeah, I find that that would be extremely important to think about just daily as well. So you're not comparing yourself too much to the fact that you're putting yourself down, but it's important to keep pushing yourself to do the best that you can. So yeah, thank you. Another question that I have would be, when did you decide to get into theatre seriously?
You know, it's so funny, like when you say seriously, because I feel like I've always taken it seriously. Like from the age of 3, when I realized this is what I wanted to do. But I guess when I went to drama school, that's where things started to get serious. If you're gonna say, yeah, because I remember when I had my teacher, his name was called Zenon, and he was so intense and militant. But the thing is, before then, it was just kind of like fun and games for me. And then I think he kind of made me realize how much of a craft it is, and how hard you had to work in order for it to look easy when you went onto stage, and to just like hone your technique. So I guess it was from that moment there where I was like, okay, this isn't all fun and games. I actually have to take this seriously in order to be respected in the industry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Another question I have would be, have there ever been any times that you've wanted to give up? And if so, what did you do to surpass them?
Do you know what? I've never wanted to give up. And I'm being so serious. I mean, I speak to some friends and they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to stop this, and like I'm not getting any money or whatever. But I don't know what it is. Like I've always just seen myself succeeding in this. And it's weird to say, but I feel like I have like a future version of me who's speaking back to me now and saying, don't worry, keep on going. Like, don't worry, I know this is hard, but you've got this. I don't know, I know it sounds a bit crazy, but it's so funny because like where I am now, I feel like if I could tell my past self anything would be going. So yeah, I don't know. I've never wanted to give up. Like I want this. I've wanted it for too long, and I want it too much to stop.
Oh, that's crazy, because one of the questions I was thinking I might ask would be, if you could tell your teenage self something to inspire yourself to keep going, what would it be? But I guess it would just be keep going, just keep hanging there. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
I think one of the last questions I will personally ask will be, due to the current circumstances like the pandemic, how are you still acting and practicing theatre at home?
Yeah, it's been really tough. I mean, at first, my friends and I would send each other monologues and then record them, send it over for feedback and stuff. That was all within the first month, but 3 months later, that has definitely dwindled down. But you know what? I've been watching a lot of films and watching a lot of TV series because I've just gained so much inspiration from that. But But in terms of acting, like, there hasn't really been much. There haven't really been any auditions come through because the industry's just gone a bit quiet. But I'm so lucky that I love writing as well. So I've got a project in development with that. So I'm able to stay creative in that way.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm just going to add in one more question that I've just thought about. If there were any younger actresses or actors that were maybe having a hard time trying to stick at it, what would you say, or what would you say to encourage them to keep going?
Oh, that's a good question. What would I say to encourage them to keep going? Do you know what? I feel, do you know what I hate? Because I know that words that people say can affect people for the rest of their lives. So I'm going to be really careful. But I feel like when you're following your passion, you just know, you know? Like, I've had so many people along the way who have literally said to me, like, this is so hard. There's no point going for this. It's 1 in a million chance. You're going to be broke all the time. You're going to be starving artist. Like, you're not going to be respected. Like, I've had just so many people say the absolute worst to me. And like I said, I've still got this crazy person in the future that's telling me, like, just keep going. You've got this. And I think that kind of, like, I have a belief in myself, you know, and I love this so much to not do this. So I think if I were to give advice to younger people, just know that this is what you really want to do, because if it is, then nothing can stop you apart from you. Like, if I turn around tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore, it's not going to be because of someone that said anything to me. It's because I've decided that this isn't for me anymore. And I think, yeah, I hope that's good. I hope that's big. Like, I hope I haven't said anything to, yeah.
No, thank you.
Okay.
I've got also, I think that's all the questions that I'm personally going to ask, but I'm actually going to open up the call for anyone else that would like to ask any more questions that could be related to something that was said or answered to one of the questions. So yeah, if anyone else has anything else to add, please do.
Okay. Do people ask on the
Hello.
on the
Hello,
message?
sorry. Does anyone else have any questions? Toby, do you have any questions? Anyone, please? Otherwise,
Yes.
I'm just going to encourage Tiwa to have. Thank you.
Yeah, so my question was, why did you pick acting? Was it your dream when you were small, or did you just like it?
Do you know what? I didn't even see it. It's so hard to explain, but I just saw it as performing. Like, I didn't actually see it as a career. It was just a hobby at first, just something I enjoyed. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that it could be a career, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just something I really loved. And then I was like, oh, I could get paid from doing this. Like, and then I continued.
Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Toby. Does anybody else have any questions? I have a question. Datola, do you mind asking your question to Tiwa, please?
Hi, Toire. Thank you for that. Well done. My question was basically just to find out if you ever had any moments where or when, maybe from someone really close to you, that sort of discouragement along the way, particularly after your graduation from drama school, and how did you overcome it, if you did?
Yeah. Do you know what? I've had so many people try to discourage me from this industry that I couldn't even think of anyone specific right now. I can't even think of anyone specific, because even if they don't say it in such an outwardly mean way, there are subtleties in way people have done it over the years of just like, you know, saying, oh my gosh, like that's such a hard industry to break into, or, you know, you're not going to get a lot of money along the way. Just little things like that I've picked along me along the years. But as I've said earlier, I feel like when you have such a passion for something and you love something so much, I feel like the only thing that can stop you from achieving it is yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tiwa. I wonder if there are any more questions from anyone. Solu, Tayo, do you have any questions? Daniel, any of the ambassadors, do you have any questions for Tiwa? Daniel, you have to unmute your audio because nobody can hear you.
Oh my God, Zenon's on the call.
Yeah, you did know.
No, oh my God. I'm using my phone and you can't see everyone that's on the call. Hi, Zenon.
Actually, maybe Tiwa, maybe there's a way you can include Zenon.
I'm trying to be quiet here, just to listen to it, because it is my first time with Zoom. But you know, I was just listening to it and was thinking actually, because it's so much happening right now in the United States for the last 2 weeks, right? And you know my views, Tiwa, about all of that, and from previous years, right? But
Yeah.
I was wondering how you as an artist, how you respond to it right now, being Black English, right?
Yeah. Do you know what? The past couple of weeks have been quite dramatic for me. And I think the thing is that with the whole police brutality and, you know, all the racism and stuff, this didn't just start happening 2 weeks ago. This has been going on for so many years. It's just that now, I think because of the global pandemic, everyone has slowed down, so they have a chance to really just sit with their emotions and digest what's going on. Hence why all the protests are happening right now. But I really had to just sit down and think about all the things that have been said to me, or the ways that I've been treated in the industry the past few years, and I've just kind of pushed it down and suppressed it just to move on, because it's like someone might say something to me that's racist or treat me in a particular way, and I can get angry about that, but then it's not doing anything. I mean, I'm not like, by me reacting to that isn't going to change the circumstance. And when I think back to like secondary school and all the school shows that I did, I was always playing the background artist or ensemble number one, ensemble number two. I was never the main actor. And when I think about the people who did get cast as the main actors, none of them are in the acting industry now. Like, it's not like they're all doing stuff that has nothing to do with the industry. And back then, I would just think to myself, like, aren't I good enough to get any of these, you know, any of these roles? Then when I think about the main roles that were on offer, or when the teachers were casting this, they wouldn't have even considered me as an option to play at the main roles because I'm Black. So sometimes when I do think back to that, it really upsets me, because I think I definitely had the talent, but it's so sad to think that just because of my skin, I was held back. And even now, like in London, you could see that theatres especially, they're being so progressive with their casting. But we still have a while to go, I think. But I'm staying positive, Zenon. I have to.
I have so many things about it, because we had a lot of conversations at school when you're in my class, and you're always beyond it, right? Me as an immigrant, I also had to be beyond it, because I was always this kind of, secondary things. I was asked to not speak my native language, etc. Do you remember? So, it's it never angered really me. But I was thinking the other day that actually what to create or how to create our own work, right? That we can go beyond that white culture, let's say. That instead of waiting for someone who will give us a job, I've been waiting once in my life for someone who will give me a job. I'm an immigrant, but someone will give me a job, right? And I realized at a certain point that waiting is not good for me. That I have to go forward. I have to create something for myself, right? Then there's a chance for me to work. The way the world is structured, right?
Yeah.
Or has been. So that's why I was thinking before this meeting about you. And you're always very creative. You always have something in mind. You always write, you dance, you sing, you always do something with your life, right? So that's what is amazing about you as an artist, that you're not waiting for, oh, give me a job.
Yeah.
You're always going forward with something, create something. So I was thinking how this time, right? How are you affected by it as an artist? Are you writing about it? Are you trying, I don't mean about racism, right? But to create something that is human, that speaks to you, right? Because it's like Grotowski said once, how to not follow the general thinking, and how to be and learn how to be alone and in the crowd, right? Instead of, and have your own thinking, own way of working, instead of following the crowd. Because everybody's doing it, so I will be doing the same. Instead of thinking, listening to your artist's voice.
Yeah, it's so funny because once this whole COVID thing started, there were so many people on Twitter and just all the socials saying like, oh no, I've started to write a play about coronavirus and being in self-isolation. And then I was thinking like, oh, maybe I need to start writing about something about being in self-isolation. And I just thought that's not organic for me. Like when I write, it's because I'm inspired by something. And I really do admire writers out there where, a producer or someone can go up to them and say, okay, I need you to write a play about this. And then they can go away and write about it. And I really do admire that, but I'm not that kind of writer. I can't write about something unless it inspires. Maybe it's because I'm in it at the moment. I don't want to then write about it. I'm already pissed off about everything. I don't want to then have to write about it as well. So things that I'm writing at the moment have nothing to do with this because it's helping me escape.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Really. I don't want to take over with, but so let's other talk. But it's such a nice surprise. It's great to, just talking to you.
I can't believe I was talking about you. I'm so proud. And you were here.
Thank God.
It was good things though.
No, because you see, it's just the work. The work is the most important thing. Instead of thinking what I will gain from it, right? And me as an acting teacher, of course I had good times and bad times. I learned a lot of things. There's a jealousy, I think, between faculties. It's right. All of this is so human, so normal. Once students like you more, you have a lot of enemies, right?
Yeah.
And one cannot think about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Once you get a good grade, suddenly people look at you differently, right?
Yeah.
Wow, she got A, why she got A? I'm better than her, and he gave me B plus. All of this nonsense that we go through. So to learn how to be beyond that, you know, and just knowing that the work is only because I want to grow.
Yeah.
I want to learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I gain from it, I don't know what I will gain from it. I mean, I learned a lot about myself. I gained a lot of wonderful friends, students, and I think for an acting teacher, it's the most beautiful thing when I see a student who's better than me, because
Wow.
that's my goal. I don't want to be a student who will look upon me, oh, I'm worse than him. I want my students to be better than me.
Yeah.
Better actors, better artists, have their own voice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It moves me when I see that, because then I know I've done my job. That's why
Yeah.
often, as you remember, I don't want my students, when they finish study with me, to go back and take class with me. I've done my work. If they have to go back to me, it means I haven't done my job.
Right.
Right?
Right. But I'm so happy because I can still come to you for advice and stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, but advice and conversation about the art, like I have a conversation about the art, theater, film, acting with you, like partners, right? That we talk about it, that I know that I can, if I don't know, I can come to you. I don't have to be ashamed by it, right? Or worrying, oh my God, what she will think. I don't, because I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I learn together with my students, you know, and I want them to be better than me. And when I see that the students understand how hard the work is, you know, to just grow, because no one promise. I mean, we live in celebrity world these days, right? Everybody wants to be popular, famous on TV, blah, 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 on the front page. But it's all of this bullshit. Really means nothing, because if you wake up one day and you will think what I've done for the past 20 years, right? Because success is ready to grow. If you wake up 20 years from now and you will be smarter, wiser, fully developed as an artist, that's the most important thing, because we have the same, we can have a chance to wake up 20 years from now and to be intellectually, physically in the same, maybe not physically, but intellectually in the same spot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow, you got both of you. When you get on, you never stop, because it's like you're so engaging. No, that is so
Let's
good.
ask someone else.
No, that is so good, because it's great to have you on. I purposely didn't tell Toire that I was inviting you onto the call. And it's so crazy that she didn't even see you. I thought she would see you when she came on. Because to everyone that is on everyone that's on the line, Zenon was Tiwa's lecturer and professor at some university when she was in New York. So, and I remember, you know, he's become a family friend as well. And the chances are you're going to be getting calls, Zenon, because people probably want advice from you as well. So be ready.
Oh, they're welcome. I'm ready.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, what I'm going to do, Zenon, everyone, the chances are we might get logged off this call, because we're only given 40 minutes. And because it's a voluntary organization I'm running, of course, I haven't actually paid for you know, a premium service. Now, if we do get logged off, just so that the ambassadors and everybody can have a bit of, you know, an extra bit with you, Toire, we'll generate another code just in case. But I'm going to take chances and just keep on this call, because for all we know, it might just continue. But just in case it logs off, once again, we'll generate another code and I'll send it through. Now, any ambassadors with any questions? Daniel, Edward, you're on. So Lutayo, you're on. Anybody else with questions? Please ask. Kasia is on. Tiwa, Kasia is on from Poland. Do you remember my friend Kasia? Yes, she's on from Poland.
Oh, wow. So I have to swipe on the phone because
Yes, I just wanted to say hello. I'm really impressed by, yes, so long, because I remember you dreaming about becoming an actress, and I just heard about acting and going to that school, and for me it looked like a teenage dream, you know, something that everyone dreams about, but later, well, who knows? But now I see you that you keep pursuing your dreams, and it's so wonderful to see you at that moment in your life.
Thank you so much. It's been so long since I've seen you. It's so nice to see you.
I want to see you on stage, and I'd love to read your writing. Is there any possibility to read it? Is it a kind of a blog or anything?
Oh yeah. What do you call it? Yeah, I can send you over a play that I wrote. If you're interested.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'll send that over.
Mm-hmm. So from the distance, I can say either you have passion and nothing else matters, or if you don't have any passions in your life, you start thinking, what can I do to actually do something? You know, you have the passion, and nothing else matters for me. What I remember is just passion and nothing more. You feel like blind, and there's always been one goal at the end to become an actress. To be on stage, to perform. That's why I just think that this is very consistent what you're doing. So, wow, I'm really impressed that your teenage passion still continues. Now it's not a teenage passion anymore. This is a mature passion.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's just like what I was saying about Xenon is that before I went to drama school, it was just a passion. Well, I mean, I had like a great love for it, but Xenon kind of told me that I had to work my ass off as well. Like it wasn't just about having a passion, and also like working hard, but also working smart. That's what I've learned along the way. You have to really think about the decisions you make and who you're surrounding yourself by. Yeah.
As far as I know, when it comes to artists, it's 10% of talent and 90% of hard work. So I see that you had to be working very, very hard to be at that point or in that point of your life right now. So it's not only So if you want to be a professional, it requires a lot of work. So I see that you put that work into it. That sweat, blood and tears, right, to become who you are now. Wow, I'm really impressed. Congratulations, Tiva.
Oh, thank you so much.